already when you feel negative about yourself inside, trust me, it will reflect. It will reflect. If I come here and I think I'm not good enough, I'm not talking good enough, then it reflects. The reason why you feel like I'm such a confident person, I'm positive, is because that's what I feel inside. Hey guys! Today I feel so good. I feel good, I feel calm, I feel like I have good vibes, energy. Well, I always have good vibes because I'm a positive person, so I can't be positive when I have good vibes, but like I just feel good and calm. Just came back from a breakfast brunch type of thing. It wasn't necessarily a date, but it was nice and good vibes and chilled and good food, so I feel good. And I thought, why don't you film? Why don't you just make a video? The camera's still here, so do the work. Alright, so just to welcome you back. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back by. If you are a subscriber and if you are new here, welcome to my community. This is a place where we have fruitful conversations and just positive community to grow each other. Also, thank you for all of the positive comments, the positive engagements, even on my Instagram, everywhere, liking, sharing, subscribing. I really deeply, truly appreciate it. As much as I'm a confident person and I want to do this for the rest of my life, these are things that keeps me going, that prove to me that no, this is for you, girl. So man, go on, keep doing them. All right, so before I even go further and start talking about communication. Sometimes y'all guys stress me. Honestly, I bump into people and we communicate, or I watch people communicating. Literally could be about anything, and you just give me stress. You give me stress because sometimes it's lack of confidence, sometimes it's lack of knowledge in certain topics, and then you either don't communicate or it's just a mess, you know. Some of you have room to grow when it comes to communication, and I'm not coming here saying I'm this perfect, I can communicate well. Everyone always has room to grow, but I feel like sometimes people don't grow because they are not aware of where they are with certain skills or certain things. So this is me creating this video because I feel the need for us to just understand what is communication, how can communication be of value to us, or how is it a necessary skill for us to have or acquire, and what are the causes of bad or not good enough communication, and what could be the possible solutions for that. Alright, so I wrote a little bit of something. Normally I wouldn't write on a paper like this, but so today happens and it's okay. Alright, so your ability to communicate confidently and your ability to communicate with knowledge of the subject, or yes, of the subject, and your ability to be open-minded when you communicate is what makes your communication be more effective, or makes you a more better communicator, because you are aware of whatever subject is regarded in that communication, and your ability, confidence, and open-mindedness allows you to be in a better position to actually communicate about that. I hope I'm not confusing any of you guys. I'll be looking into my paper so that I don't miss some of the points. But yeah, so I don't know, I think sometimes people just wake up and talk about anything. Some people just wake up and want to talk with someone, and nothing is intentional about that. There's no knowledge around some of the subjects, and sometimes it's not only a waste of time, but it's just doing things out of carelessness. You know, life is connected basically. If you teach yourself discipline at the gym, there's high chances that you would be disciplined at your schoolwork as well, or at a project at work. So life is connected, and I feel that it's really important for you guys, or everyone else in the world, to be intentional about their communication in whatever field or subjects there is. Alright, so I was thinking about this, and in my head I'm like, okay, so before we even try to find a solution of people that aren't really good communicators, what are the causes of you not being a good communicator or being a bad communicator? What causes you to be like that? Because then when you understand the problem, the cause of the problem, it will be easy to solve that problem. And as I was talking with my friend, we found out that there's actually quite a few things, like a lot of things that could impact you being a bad communicator. Firstly, lack of confidence, which is normal within people. I have a very close person of mine. She'll probably watch this YouTube. I'm sorry to make an example about you. She's such a great person. She's good at everything that she does, but she's about to start in the working world, and she's supposed to go to interviews, and she tells me all the time when she has an interview that I'm scared, I don't feel like my English is good enough or my accent is good enough. And that's lack of confidence. Already when you feel negative about yourself inside, trust me, it will reflect. It will reflect. If I come here and I think I'm not good enough, I'm not talking good enough, then it reflects. The reason why you feel like I'm such a confident person, I'm positive, is because that's what I feel inside. So most people lack confidence. They just don't trust whatever that they're saying. And lack of confidence could be caused by a lot of things. I could make another video about that. It could be background. You're coming from a home that used to not to disregard you about anything that you had to express, or you judge people easily, so whenever you have to speak with someone, you're immediately intimidated by that. One thing that used to happen with my friend Lisa, who was part of my previous video, was she's an academic. She's so into school and arguments and writing essays. And I remember this one time when we moved in together, stayed in the same house, we would talk, have conversations until 2 a.m. And what I realized was every time she spoke, she'd speak words that I don't know, or just speak of a language that is confusing to me, and immediately I just say, as in, I'm not going to argue with you, I'm not going to argue with you, or I'm not going to have this conversation. And that was me being defensive. That was me being intimidated or confused. The confusion led to intimidation, and immediately I'm like, I'm being defensive, but also in the defensiveness there was lack of confidence. And then one day I actually said to myself, okay, let me actually listen to what you say, take my time I downloaded a dictionary because of that friendship. Download a dictionary. Every time we have a conversation, I don't understand a word, I would go straight to the dictionary, look at the word, try to understand every little thing that she said, and I realized that I actually understood all of these things, and I had so many opinions that made so much sense. So much that at some point I would even win the argument, or she would be understanding of my perspective, because I've decided to understand what she says. I've removed the lack of confidence or being intimidated by who I'm communicating with. Yes, I think she's a very smart person. Yes, I think she's good at what she's speaking about, but sometimes she can be wrong. Sometimes I can understand and have better knowledge than what she's talking about. So lack of confidence causes intimidation sometimes, because you just look at someone, you're like, yo, I'm certain this person is smart. If I sit next to Upiwo, then Upiwo knows everything that I don't know. Immediately you're throwing yourself off, and you're just cutting yourself out. You allow yourself to not have confidence, basically. Another thing outside confidence and intimidation that could cause you to not be a good communicator is rejection. Some people have been rejected so much that they are just like, what's the point? It also falls under confidence. It's like when you're rejected so much, you end up believing that, what's the point? I might be not good enough, or I might not sound good enough. That's why I've been rejected the whole time. Whereas rejection, I've been rejected. I'm good at what I do. I believe in myself, but I've been rejected so many times. But it doesn't take away from the fact that I'm good. The fact that someone cannot see your value does not mean someone else cannot see your value. So don't allow rejection to make you lack confidence, because lack of confidence will cause you to miss out on things like communication skills. One last thing that's a lot, but the list that I wrote is past experiences. For instance, just speaking on bad communication or not good enough communication in social life or relationships. Let's say you were dating someone and maybe they were a narcissist, and it didn't matter what you said, whether you express yourself, even in background cases, like it just doesn't matter. Or however much you communicate, this person doesn't communicate, or they just disregard whatever you say. And then you take that past experience and you come with it into a new state of life. So sometimes it's things like that that cause people to just not be good at communicating because they're just disregarding, or they're just like, what's the point of communicating? Or I feel like I'm intimidated by you, or I just don't feel good about myself. I don't think I'm gonna sound good enough. How can you be a better communicator in general? How can you be a better communicator in the professional or career world? How can you be a better communicator in your social life? Again, I could make a whole video about each of these things, but in general, maybe start with our career. Just look in our career. Normally in our career, we just call it networking, being good at communicating with people that could potentially give you value. Or if it's in a professional world, at the office, you're doing a presentation. What makes you a better communicator? First of all, I think it's very necessary to be aware of yourself, what you are doing, everything about what you do. So awareness of what you do, awareness of the subject at hand. Be aware. So being aware goes together with investing yourself in knowledge, like investing knowledge. So study, read, find information, like get out there and just find every little thing, so that when you have to communicate and you have to understand the other person's perspective, it's not something that will throw you off or intimidate you. You're in a position of understanding because you're familiar with this topic at hand, or you're familiar with the feelings at hand. If it's a relationship, you're familiar with just communicating and understanding that it's not only about you, there's the next person, and somewhere, somehow, there has to be value and understanding. I think it's also extremely important to be intentional about whatever you're verbalizing. Be intentional, and I'm trying to think of examples that could make it easy for you to understand. But if, for instance, I'm meeting Patrice Motsepe, for instance, one of the most influential men, wealthy men in South Africa, and I'm like, okay, Patrice Motsepe, I want to talk to Patrice Motsepe. Why? Why do you want to talk to Patrice Motsepe? What are you hoping to find or gain from having a conversation with that person? Or how are you trying to sell yourself to this person so that you could find value of some sort? So when you communicate, have an intention of some sort. Don't just be a person who say, okay, Patrice Motsepe, let me have a conversation with him. You're wasting his time. You are embarrassing yourself sometimes. Yes, there could be a chance, but it's more effective when you are intentional. Even when certain questions come up, it's easy because there's an intention. You know why you're doing this, and you won't just be there saying, I don't know, to the most influential person who could be having conversations with other people that could be of so much value, or he could be of so much value to those people. So just have an intention. And intention doesn't only go with communication. It's really important to just be an intentional person all-rounder. Be intentional about the people that you bring into your life. Be intentional about every little thing that you do. And then when it comes to social life and relationships, it's also really important to invest. The same points that I was saying. Invest in knowledge. Invest in knowledge that you are interested in. It's easier to speak. It's even easier to have confidence when you know exactly what you're talking about. So if you could go somewhere and they're having a conversation, for instance, I find people talking about soccer. I don't know anything about soccer. So me having to want to communicate and have an opinion will only make me just seem like a person who can't really communicate well unless I'm asking questions and I'm trying to know, which is a side of being a good communicator. But if I acknowledge myself, then I have better chances of just speaking sense or even asking the right questions, because you could be in a position where you want to ask questions because you don't know, but you're just asking the wrong questions, so it's necessary for you to just invest in knowledge about any subject, even if it's in relationships. Like, before you even try to communicate and fight in a relationship, why don't you knowledge yourself about the situation, how the situation could have possibly made you and the next person feel, because normally relationships have to do with feelings, how it's possibly making the other person feel, and how can it be solved. Be able to also put yourself in another person's shoes, which is basically having an open mind. When you have an open mind, then you have the ability to understand not just your side, but you're opening up to understanding the next person's side and the next person's side, which also in return grows you as a person. So it's like you don't only know what you know, but you understand different perspectives. It's like you understand a variety of life, basically. Other ways that you can grow or better your communication skills is confidence, like building confidence. But with confidence, it's a bit complicated because I was talking to my brother the other day, and he was saying he doesn't think he has as much confidence, and I'm like, what caused your lack of confidence? What causes you to not have confidence? So find out first why you don't have confidence, so that you deal directly with the cause and not just use the solution of saying, because I could say I don't feel confident because I'm not dressed up well today, and only to find that with someone else, clothes don't do anything to them. They could wear this or that and still lack confidence or still have confidence. So figure out what makes you lack that confidence first, and then have to deal directly with that problem. Yeah, I feel like, to just sum it up and make a short video about communication, it's really important, guys, to be a good communicator. It's like you're living a mark, you're living your legacy every time you have a conversation with someone. And I've even had some people tell me like, dude, why aren't you a therapist? Like, why did you leave your psychology degree? Because you're so good at this. It's like, when you communicate, it's not just about you. It's not about you. It's about you and the next person and their perspective and their way of thinking. So consider all of that, and you realize how much there's so much fun in communicating in the world, and how much there's so much value, like having communication skills. Oh, and one last thing is, I've realized also that some of you guys think that people that are good at communicating or social life were born gifted with that. But what you might not know is that there are certain skills that you can acquire if you want to acquire. I've not always been a person who's talkative like this, and I wish in high school I was part of like the debates team and whatnot, but I was never. But now I could stand my ground and stand my points until the finish, and probably even win that argument, because I've grown to just teach myself to be good at communication. I've taught myself to be good at networking, negotiating, and all of those things. So these are the skills that you can acquire. If you feel like you aren't as good at communicating in whatever field in your life, you can learn that. You can become a better person in that field. So just seek knowledge, watch videos like these. Sometimes they help. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's just a piece of my mind on a Sunday, on a beautiful Sunday. And I hope you find value in it. And I hope you're going to begin to create a new skill for yourself that's going to be of value to you going forward in your life. So that's it for this video. I really appreciate you watching until the end, and right, let's cheers to the friend.